What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. I'm going to be doing a overview for the Tactile Knife Rockwall, the Tactile Knife Bear, and we'll jump into the Dagger Knives Mermaid OTF. Let's get into it. So I'm going to jump into all this in just a second, but I am here to formally announce that this is going to be my last video ever from the garage. Yeah, I know I teased y'all a little bit with the title, but I finally got a setup that I can use in my bedroom. Very excited about that because I also will be able to set that up to do lives. And I know that a lot of you have been asking me about going live and doing lives, and I am very anxious to do that. All that said, let's get into this video. So I'm not going to do a review, size comparison, or anything like that for either one of these knives. I actually have full reviews for both of these out there already. And what I'll do is I'll link the Bear up here in the top corner so that you guys can check that out if you're interested in my full review of the slip joint. And then what I'll do is I'll also throw the Rockwall up here in the corner so that you guys can check that full review out, get my thoughts and impressions on everything from those videos. Not much has changed. What's different here is that you have an exclusive that's coming from Traditional Pocket Knives. They have this beautiful jig pattern that they like to do on their titanium exclusives, and I'm here for it. I love it. And then this coating here that is on the knife from Tactile, I don't know if they're doing this in-house. I think the whole thing's being done in-house, but I'm really digging this, and I believe it would be because if you've ever seen the Tactile turn pins, they have some really sweet coatings. Walk and Talk on here is a solid Walk and Talk. I like this because it's a very thin EDC. It's going to be really good if you want to throw it in the slip and drop it in the pocket. It's going to be really good if you want to throw it in the fifth pocket, or if you're looking for something for a pouch, this is a really nice option. You just have to be mindful for this not to put your thumb on there because you don't want to put pressure down, but it's going to have really good tip access for puncturing and getting into any tape or packages that you want to get into with this one. And it is so thin and slicey. It's just going to move through the material like it's nothing else. The finish on here is really good. Tactile did a very nice job with the jig pattern on here. Still feels very smooth in hand, but you can feel that jigging is there. And honestly, it does help a little bit with the grip on such a thin slip joint. So I really like that a lot. And it still has that lanyard on there. And then the same goes for the Rockwall. Everything that I just said about the Bear applies here as well. You get a little bit of a thicker profile. You still get a very thin blade. It looks like it's a little chunkier, but it's actually very thin if you compare it to some Civivis and things of that nature. It moves the materials very well. And I know that they're doing heat treat on the Rockwall at 61, 62. And then on the Maverick, they've bumped it to 63, 64, which is really good. So I imagine future Rockwalls will start to see an increase there as well. But MagnaCut, truthfully, at 61 starts to give you that really high end performance, and then at 62 it's really, really close, and that 63, 64 is that sweet spot. I still love this one a lot. Good thumb studs, fairly decent access because they chamfer down right here so you can get right on top of it even with my larger hands, and it fires out. And smooth closing action, no play side to side or up and down either. So they seem to continue to refine and improve as they go through that process. But again, check those links if you're interested for full reviews of those. This is just an overview. So you guys are getting a bit of a twofer today. We're going to be jumping into the Dagger Knives Mermaid. This one is an interesting one for sure. You got VG10, which is about the same as 10CR. It's a really good stainless steel that's going to hold an edge a long time. This one's really thin. You usually see VG10 and 10CR on Kinship grade knives that are really good performing chef knives and things of that nature. You got what looks like a skull with a single eye. I mean, I don't know if that's what the intent was. Doesn't look anything like a mermaid. These scales do look like fish scales though, that is for sure. But it is a very unique design. I've played with it a little bit. I don't think the pinky is meant to go back here. I think if you're using it in the regular grip, you just put it in the hand as such. It's nice and thin. And I think because it is a little bit thinner, it has a really pronounced action to it. One of my complaints in this position though is because they move together, and if you watch, you'll see they move together. When you're actually using this part of the OTF, this back here is moving across the palm. So you can see, I'm trying to show you. So you do feel that kind of moving along. Even if you try to cover it with the fingers, for me, my fingers do kind of feel it moving back there. So it was a little unsettling at first, but then I kind of got used to it. So action on it is very good. I did try the upside down. I don't know how Lefty had two of his have issues like that. I'm just assuming that he put so much lube on it that the catch got slick and it's missing it sometimes, because I've never had that issue. This pocket clip here, I believe he had to replace this. I think it because it's such a thin wall. I think when he screwed it back together after taking it apart to show disassembly, I think it stripped out on him a little bit, and there wasn't like much wiggle room there because it just has a little bit that protrudes because of the thin wall and it not wanting, or they not wanting it to come across the blade and scratch it. It has a cool dagger-esque look, but this side is dull. It is not sharpened. This side is very sharp. I did test it across some paper and it has a decent edge on it. It's not the sliciest in the world, but when I tried to open a package with it, it did just fine. I had no issues. The last thing that I think is unique about this is it does have that double action on it. And I believe that it's meant so that when you have it in finger, you can just throw that thumb down real quick and then go right to the Slurpee defense position, as Kevin likes to call it. And I think that's pretty unique that they wanted to do that. It's a little gimmicky, truth be told, but it is something that makes it different and makes it stand out from other OTFs. As far as how it feels in its build, I would say it's a good build. It feels decent in hand. But I do notice that when I move to my Counter-Strike or my Vigor from TACCOM.com, those do feel like a little bit of a higher quality. The tolerances on it feel tighter. This has a little bit more slop in it, but no more than I would say you would see, maybe a little bit more, actually probably say a little bit more than what you might see on like a Microtech. Just feels and sounds very clicky, and I think that has to do with all the thinness on it. It's a cool knife. I would say if you like the aesthetics and OTFs are legal where you live, it'd probably be worth picking up to add to the collection. It's a cool little knife, and I know Dagger does things at a more value point. They make things a little bit more affordable, so the design on this might cause it to bump up a little bit, but the VG10 on there makes me think that this is probably something that's going to be more on the affordable end for OTFs. But I am curious, let me know what you think about the looks for the Dagger down in the comments, or if you were tuning in to see what I was going to have to say about these full-on coated tactile knives. Let me know what you think about them down in the comments as well. If you like all blacked out, they're definitely really cool and worth checking out, and they're at Traditional Pocket Knives only if you want that jig titanium. They are very good looking and they feel extremely well built. I think Tactile continues to improve as it grows as a company, and that's all that any of us can ask for from them, because they are a US maker that I am rooting for, that I want to see successful. And I even have on me today, ironically, because I didn't even know I was going to do this, I swear, I have my Maverick on here, and the more this one breaks in, the better the action on it gets. And I just love how they can do all that tooling and milling in-house, and they have such unique patterns. It makes it a lot more fun, and it's still, I think, an affordable price for a USA made knife with premium materials. Anyway, leave those comments down below. Shout out to everyone that leaves the likes, the comments, and is subscribed. I love you guys. Signing off from the garage for the last time, except for the mods.